All right, welcome to today's You're Going to Learn Today podcast with Sheila Benjamin Anusa. So, today we're going to be talking about consciousness. So, our first question is, why is it necessary to tap into your inner strength?
It is necessary for you to tap into your inner strength because it allows you to go into another level of consciousness. And the best way to explain it is when you go into another level of consciousness, it allows you to come out wiser. It gets into your genetic code, your genetic DNA that's on the inside of you. And with all of that being said, it allows you to tap into knowledge and wisdom that you don't even realize that you have. When you tap into your inner strength, when I talk about your inner strength and your inner being, I'm talking about a completely different level of consciousness. And most of us only think about the surface. Most of us just simply thinks that this is it. We think that, this is our life. We go about it day to day. This is it. We hope for the best, but you don't have to hope for the best. You can bring forth the best in your life. And so you have to learn how to tap into your inner strength, your inner being, because it allows you to go to different levels of consciousness within you. And all of that's within. All of the things that I'm talking about, you don't have to go somewhere and get them. You don't have to look somewhere else because you are the key. Your genetic code is the key to what you need in life to succeed. And that's what you have to come to realize is that everything you need is already on the inside of you. It's in your makeup. It's in your genetic code. And so the different levels of consciousness allows you to tap into that genetic code. It allows you to be the best that you can be. And it allows you to tap into wisdom and knowledge and understanding that you were not even aware that you had, but it's there. It's there within that genetic code, but it's in another level of consciousness. And that's what I need people to understand, that right here in this level of consciousness, the first level of consciousness, you think this is all there is to it, but it is so much more. In this level of consciousness, you are controlled by the atmosphere. You're controlled by time. You're controlled by your problems. You're controlled by circumstances. You're controlled by the music you listen to. You're controlled by the food that you eat. You're controlled by everything surrounding you, who you hang out with, what you read, what you don't read. All of this is on this level of consciousness, and a lot of times it holds us bound. It keeps us from walking into our purpose. It keeps us from walking in to the next dimension of who we are. And I need you to understand that there's more to you than this level of consciousness. It's more to you. That's why you have to tap into another level of consciousness. You have to tap into your inner being, your inner strength, because it's there.
Okay, so where does this level of consciousness relate to stress in your life?
In this level of consciousness, you may not be able to deal with stress. You may not be able to deal with disappointment, heartache, and all of that, because in this level of consciousness, you don't have the same power. You don't have the answers. You don't have the solutions. In this level of consciousness, like I said, you're controlled by everything going on around you. Everything, even, we don't realize it, but what we eat affects us. If you are feeling overly depressed, you need to detox and you need to take a look at what it is you're eating. You need to take one thing at a time, take everything out of your diet and then start introducing one thing at a time back into your diet, because it matters what you eat. It matters what you drink. Everything on this level of consciousness is affected by everything around you, by your sleeping habits, by your music, by TV, by social media, by the food. Again, I keep going back to food because we overlook the food component. We overlook the fact that what we eat affects us as well as everything else. So when you're looking at the things that you eat, when you're looking at the whole component of things, then you have to realize that, okay, first of all, I need to do a detox because my mind, I have brain fog. On this level, you deal with brain fog. On this level, you deal with depression. On this level, you deal with stress. On this level, you deal with anxiety. On this level, you deal with illnesses. But all of that can be turned around based on the wisdom and knowledge that you get from going to a different level of consciousness that helps you to evaluate what it is that you're doing on this level of consciousness. What is it that you need to take away? What is some things that you need to do differently? And by doing that, we don't realize that it's certain foods that we eat. And on top of that, we don't realize that we're taking in pesticides into our body. We're taking in a lot of things into our body that our bodies cannot get out, cannot flush out. We have heavy metals in our body, which is going to cause brain fog, depression. I mean, the list can go on. And so you've got to look at, on this level of consciousness, a whole lot of things is happening, and you're on stimulation overload because you're taking in all this stuff is happening. And sometimes in order to de-stress, you have to go to another level of consciousness so you can free your mind. What you're really doing is you're quieting your mind. You're decluttering your mind. You're letting go of some things so you can receive the answers that you are seeking about your life and about the journey that you are taking.
Okay, can you kind of explain whether consciousness is a religious thing? Is it a scientific thing? Is it a philosophy thing? What about consciousness puts it into one of those categories or any of those categories?
Actually, it could actually be put in all of those categories, but I want you to understand that transmeditation, because this is what we're talking about now. When I talk about the different levels of consciousness, I'm talking about transmeditation. And when I talk about transmeditation, I want you to understand that it's teaching you how to go from one level of consciousness to another. It's teaching you how to quiet your mind. So meditation can be, because I meditate upon God's word day and night. So I use meditation in my relationship with God. I'm not real big on religious. I'm not real big on tradition. But what I will say is that meditation, any form of meditation, is a spiritual thing. Because one of the levels that you will learn to get to is going to be God consciousness. But that's way off. You go through a lot of different things before you ever get there. But I want you to understand that it's been scientifically proven that when you do transmeditation, that it can help with stress, it can help with depression, it can help with anxiety, it helps with brain fog. Because it allows you to quiet your mind. It allows you to relax. I mean, it's not like you can be sitting in this chair and do transmeditation. You can be lying flat on the bed and do transmeditation. I like to listen to a certain type of music, but that music, I associate relaxation with the sound of that type of music that I listen to. But I can also hear what I need to hear in my mind. I talk a lot about the mind's eyes. You have to learn to use the mind's eyes to do the things that you need them to do. And this is not about outside things that's stimulating you. You are not being stimulated by the things of the world, because what you're actually doing is escaping to another level of consciousness, which takes you away from the things of the world that's holding you bound and keeping you from operating on another level. And so this is all about operating on another level. It's about God consciousness. And because that's the goal that we're trying to get to by going through all of the different levels of consciousness. You know, we want to get to that God consciousness where when you're in that God consciousness, you're at one of your highest levels, you're at your peak, you're able to you're able to transport yourself from this level of consciousness to another level, to another level, to another level. And with each level, you get more understanding, you get more wisdom, you get more knowledge, you become more powerful, you become more strong, you become stronger, you learn to operate in your purpose, you learn to walk in your destiny, you learn to live your best life now. But a lot of times people are trying to do it from this standpoint, and you don't have all the wisdom and all the knowledge that you need in this level of consciousness for you to be able to do what you need to do. I constantly tell people all the time, it's not like you have to go somewhere else to get it. It's already on the inside of you. You've just got to tap into different levels of consciousness that's within yourself. All this is within your reach. So you tap into different levels of consciousness that's within yourself. And each level that you go to, it allows you a certain amount of wisdom, a certain amount of knowledge. You go in with the problem and you come out with the solution. Again, when you go to the next level of consciousness, you free yourself from the boundaries that's holding you bound in this level of conscious. So, you know, you have to be a person that has no boundaries. You're able to cross to the next level of consciousness and the next level and the next level, knowing that there is no boundary. You have the power within you to do this. You just have to come to the realization that the power is on the inside of you, and that you can go from level of consciousness to level of consciousness. But on top of that, you've got to understand that it's important and that it's something that you actually need. It's something that you need to do to be able to reach your full potential. You know, I was very good at the things that I did in my life, but I didn't learn how to walk in my purpose and my destiny, and I didn't learn how to walk in my greatness and be greater and greater and greater until I learned how to go from one level of consciousness to the next level of consciousness. And I can tell you firsthand, my life is so much better. I'm not saying that I don't have problems, and down here in this level of consciousness, I get bogged down. I get stressed, I have anxiety, I have all of that. But the closer I get to God consciousness, all of that falls away. You have to understand that you have to learn to think of this body as your transportation on this level. But this body can't go to the next level. So, I mean, that's how I want you to understand it. This body, this human form that we are in, this is our level of transportation on this level of consciousness. But when I get ready to go to the next level of consciousness, I no longer need this body, because this body is what makes it legal for me to operate here on earth. This body is what is needed for me to operate in this level of consciousness. But I'm so thankful that I don't need this body to go to the next level of consciousness. And so it helps sometimes for you to see yourself. For me, the ego is so symbolic and so very, very important to me. And, you know, I love the ego. I've studied the ego over and over and over. So a lot of times for me, I can hear the ocean. The ocean is my signal for calmness. The ocean waves is what helps me be able to transcend to the next level of consciousness. But I also see myself on the wings of an eagle. I see myself flying above, because you actually can see this level of consciousness even though you've gone to another level of consciousness. And somebody else asked me the question, you know, is that safe? Can anything happen to you while you're in the other level of consciousness? I want you to know that if you need to come back from another level of consciousness, you can, and it is completely safe. There's nothing that's going to happen to you It's nothing that's going to happen to your body on this level of consciousness while you have elevated to another level of consciousness. And most people that's like doing this, you're not going to be doing this if you feel like you're in danger anyway. I mean, you would not transport to another level of consciousness if right here in this level of consciousness you felt like that you was in danger, because for one thing, you wouldn't be able to do it because you would not be able to relax, you would not be able to unwind, you would not be able to release the bounds of this world. So you would not be able to do any of that. So therefore you would not be able to go to the next level of consciousness. So when you are going to the next level of consciousness, you most likely are in a safe place that is going to allow you to be able to go on the journey that you're going on. I will also tell you that you need to be concerned about your health, because depending, if you ask me the drawbacks of trance meditation, I would tell you that you could possibly get to the place where you would rather be on a different level of consciousness than on this level of consciousness. And so just like anything else, you have to have a balance, because remember, your human body makes it legal for you to do business on this level of consciousness. And so, it's necessary for you to do the things that you need to do. So it's necessary to make sure that you're eating properly, that you're hydrated, that you're getting the proper amount of rest, because it is very rewarding to be able to elevate to another level of consciousness, because that's when you start tapping into your inner strength, your inner power, and the greatness that's on the inside of you.
Okay, so can you explain why someone might want to seek out a level of consciousness or awareness?
Why they would want to do?
Why they would seek it out? Why would they want to engage in it?
You want to engage in it because, first of all, it has tremendous health benefits. Because we live in a stress-packed world. Our senses is overstimulated. We're constantly on the go. We're spazzing out about everything. Our anxiety is high. We're not sleeping. We're not eating properly. We're not doing the things that we need to do to take care of self. When you're able to transcend to another level of consciousness, it lets you look back on this level of consciousness, and it allows you to see the error of your ways. It allows you to realize that I need a better diet. If I don't have a better diet, then this is what I'm going to deal with along the way. It allows you, when you transcend to another level of consciousness, it allows you to be free. So it gives you the freedom away from stress. It de-stresses you. It helps you to let go of some of the brain fog, because we get brain fog because we're so overstimulated. So it helps with your blood pressure. It helps with your anxiety. It helps with your health in tremendous ways, but it also helps you to see clearly, because a lot of times we have so much stuff going on in our life that's all that we can think about. And we're trying to make a decision from a place of confusion. We're trying to make a decision from a place of emotion. We're trying to make a decision from a place of feelings. But when you elevate to the next level of consciousness, there is no emotion. There is no feeling. There is no stress. That's something that was left behind on this level of consciousness with this body. So when you are set free from this level of consciousness and you go to the next level of consciousness, you learn how to deal with the things that's on this level of consciousness. So then all of a sudden you're dealing with stress better than you've ever dealt with stress before in your life. You're dealing with anxiety better than you've ever dealt with anxiety before in your life. You're dealing with your health issues your illnesses, your mental fog. So when you come back to this level of consciousness, you've learned on another level how to operate better on this level. So each time you go to another level of consciousness, you're learning how to operate on the other levels of consciousness that you have already been through. So you've gained more wisdom, more knowledge, more understanding, but also it's better for you mentally, psychologically, physically. It's better for your whole being, and it is also a very spiritual journey, because keep in mind that the aim is God consciousness. Now, I'm not talking to you about religion. I'm not talking to you about any kind of form of tradition. What I'm talking to you about is the fact that for you to get to God consciousness, you have to learn how to go from one level of consciousness to another level of consciousness. This is spiritual, not religious. You know, this is spiritual, not traditional. This is spiritual because it's allowing you to operate spirit to spirit. So not only are you taking care of yourself in every other aspect, but you're gaining balance in your life because you're taking care of yourself spiritually as well, knowing that the goal and the aim is God consciousness.
Okay, and how does this, this is a conversation that we've had before, but how does you tapping into that consciousness help with your brain function and tapping into those spaces in your brain that you may not be using?
First of all, on this level, we've been taught not to use it. On this level right here, it doesn't require you to go past the 10%. But when you go into another level of consciousness, you're using a part of your consciousness that you've never even used before. You're using and stimulating and giving rest to a part of you that you've never tapped in before. So as you go from level of consciousness to consciousness, you're using more and more, and you're tapping into more and more knowledge. Remember that we have a genetic DNA code. We have that genetic code that's in each one of us. You were wonderfully and marvelously made in the image of God, but you are a unique masterpiece. I can't get into it now because it gets too technical and stuff, but we're going to do a segment on the genetic code. But you're talking about going back thousands and thousands and thousands of years of genetic code that is now embedded on the inside of you. So when you start tapping into the different levels of consciousness, you tap into a part of your genetic code that you didn't even know was there in the first place. So that's how you're able to come out wiser, smarter, knowing things that you didn't know before. And it is simple, but it gets very detailed at the same time. So the reason why it helps you on every level of your life is because it teaches you how to deal with your health issues. It teaches you how to deal with your problems. It teaches you how to deal with conflict, how to resolve conflict, because you not only have your current wisdom and knowledge, but you have the wisdom and the knowledge that was embedded in your genetic code from ancestors way, 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 way before you. Now, when we actually talk about the genetic code, I'm going to give you some numbers. You will be shocked to hear those numbers, but until I'm able to just do a segment on that and go into the numbers, I'm just telling you that it goes back further than you can even imagine, that genetic code. And so, can you imagine the knowledge of your ancestors? Can you just imagine the knowledge of Egypt alone? Can you imagine the knowledge that built pyramids, that does everything that we can't even explain? Can you imagine the knowledge and the wisdom of those that came before us and was able to do things that we're still not even able to do with all of our advances in our modern technology? That's a lot of things about Egypt that we just flat out can't explain. We don't know how it really functions. We don't understand the pyramids. We were told that they were tombs, but they are not. We didn't know that it had an electrical system in the pyramid. Why would it need an electrical system? I mean, it gets pretty deep, but I'm telling you, that's the kind of knowledge and wisdom that you're tapping into from great minds that you don't even know all that they knew or all that they did. And so that's why it's so important for us to be able to operate on a different level of consciousness than we've ever been able to operate on before. That's why it's so important that we learn to go from level to level to level, knowing that we're aiming for God consciousness. Can you imagine being so tapped in and to God's consciousness that you're able to really mold the fabric of your life? You know, we are not even using any part of our consciousness, any part of our mind to the fullest capacity, because if we were, we would be like those that came before us that was able to do the impossible. See, we can't do the impossible because we don't believe that we can do the impossible. So we settle for doing this little mediocre stuff that we do, and we think, oh, we're great, we did this, we did that. What you have achieved is not a drop in the bucket to what is on the inside of you that you can achieve, because you have knowledge and wisdom and understanding that you don't even realize that you have.
All right, so can you give tips to someone to even begin their start to meditation, period?
Now I do several different types of meditation. Okay, first of all, let me make it plain that there's many different types of meditation, excuse me. Not medication, but meditation. So there's many different types of it. So it depends on what type of meditation that they are trying to do.
So let's say a beginner, someone from the very beginning, they hear this podcast, they hear you talk about consciousness and everything, and they want to get there, but they haven't even started with even the slightest form of meditation.
Okay. What I'm talking about now is trance meditation. It is the easiest form to do because it doesn't require you to sit any certain way. It doesn't require you to do all the things that the other meditation requires you to do. For trance meditation, you start out by calming and emptying your mind. So I would tell them that first of all, they need to get rid of all noise. They need to get rid of everything that is distracting. For me, I like listening to the ocean waves because that's calm to me. Or I like listening to a storm, like the rain or the storm. Now these are sounds that's coming off of a sound machine. Not that I'm actually trying to find rain, or I would love to go to the ocean, but I can't go to the ocean every time that I'm getting ready to do this. So you just find a sound that makes you feel calm. I told you the two sounds that works for me is rain and the ocean. And so you find that sound. You train your mind to associate calmness with that sound. Because what you're doing is you're quieting your mind. You're becoming calm. That's all you're doing. You're sitting there and you're listening to that sound and you're thinking calm. You're just thinking calm. You don't have to do anything else. You're just thinking calm. So you start and you envision. I start at the top of my head. I envision my head calm. I go from there to my eyes calm. And I'm just saying calm as I'm listening to the music. Not the music, but the sound. And I'm really focusing on the sound because it is so important that you identify calmness with that sound. So because I identify calmness with that sound, it doesn't matter when I hear this sound, I become calm. Because I have done this so long this way that I can just walk on the beach and hear the ocean and all the cares of the world just completely leaves me. So I tell people, they say that you can do it many different ways. I like to associate sound. The vision that I have in my mind is the eagle soaring above the storm. Now, these are the three. This is the imagery I use, which is the eagle soaring above the storm. And the two sounds that I use is the ocean and rain or a storm. It could be thunder and lightning, any of that. But for me, that's a sign of calmness, because I was always taught as a child that's when the Lord is doing his work. But you need to learn to use whatever works for you. So whatever sound makes you feel calm, you're going to listen to this sound. As you listen to this sound, you're listening to the sound, but you're thinking calm. And it is so amazing, because as you think calm, according to the sound, you think of your head. And all of a sudden you feel all the, because a lot of times I'm frowning. I don't even realize I'm frowning, but I'm always thinking. So every now and then I'll reach up and I'll touch my head, and I'll see that this frown line is gone. And I just come and I just go all the way down my whole body. I just think about the body. But while I'm thinking about the body, the sound is saying, I'm not saying calm. The sound that I'm listening to is saying calm. So as I think about different parts of my body, then I feel the calmness just completely leaving me. Coming to me, the stress completely leaving me, the calmness coming to me. And so you're going to do that for 15 minutes. 20 minutes. That's the first stages of it. I will tell you before I go into the next stage of what you actually do. You have to learn to free your mind of everything and just become calm. It doesn't require you to go through all of the other steps that the other type of meditation requires you to go to. The only thing that you're really doing is associating sound with calmness, and that would make you not become like stress or a problem or whatever that is. It's just completely gone. And so as that happens, that's how you begin to learn how to do the trance meditation. Because after you learn to be calm, that's the first stage that you're going to learn, is to calm yourself, to quiet your mind. You want your mind to quit thinking and stressing and going over all of this. So after you do that, then the next step is for you to learn just to let go and to rise above this level of consciousness. And that's pretty much how you do it. It's not complicated, but it takes time, it takes practice, and each time you need to go to another level of consciousness, you do something a little slightly different. So the first part of it is to get you a sound that you associate with calmness. And I use a visual image of an eagle flying to help me to quiet my mind, to be calm, because for some reason those three things signifies calmness to me. And you just have to learn to do that, and learn to do that for 15 to 20 minutes, and then you're ready to go to the next stage of it. So the first stage of this is just learning to be calm and to stop the noise that's constantly going on in our head. And once you can do that, then you're ready to really, really learn how to do the trance meditation, and then you'll be able to go from one level of consciousness to another.
All right, everyone. That concludes our You Gonna Learn Today podcast with Sheila Benjamin Anusa. You can catch us at 1 p.m. on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays for our podcast. That's it. Have a good one.